What's up, Knicks fans? Before we get into this, I need you to smash that like button right now. Seriously, it costs you nothing, and it tells YouTube to push this video out to more Knicks fans who need to hear what I'm about to say. Okay, let's talk about LeBron James, because this whole situation is starting to drive me a little crazy. So here's the deal. Jalen Brunson was out at the Fanatics Fest in New York recently, and reporters obviously asked him about the team's pursuit of LeBron in free agency. And look, I get Brunson's trying to stay diplomatic. He basically said his job is to score buckets and play a little defense, and that the front office handles who comes and who goes. Fine, that's the politically correct answer. But let's be real for a second. Everybody knows Brunson wants LeBron in a Knicks uniform. Everybody. You don't get to be the alpha dog of a championship team and not have opinions about who joins your roster. I just wish he'd come out and say it with some fire, Drop the corporate speak for 2 seconds and tell us how you really feel, Jalen. Now here's what's eating at me as a fan. Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, already came out earlier in free agency and said his client would have signed with the Knicks this summer if we hadn't just won the championship. Let that sink in for a second. We won the title. And somehow that's the reason LeBron isn't walking through our door? I don't know if I believe that story 100%. Agents say things all the time to keep their clients' name in headlines. But if there's even a shred of truth to it, that is one of the most backward situations in sports. We did the hard part. We climbed the mountain. And now apparently that success is working against us in free agency? Comment down below if that logic makes any sense to you, because to me it sounds like an excuse. And listen, I want to give you my honest take here, not just recite what's being reported. Every single day that goes by with LeBron dragging his feet on this decision, it feels more and more obvious that he's landing somewhere in the Eastern Conference. Whether that's because he's genuinely still weighing his options or because, and I fully believe this is part of it, he's enjoying being the center of the NBA universe heading into his 24th season at almost 42 years old. Either way, the writing is on the wall. He's going east. And here's the part that really gets under my skin as a Knicks fan. If LeBron goes east, the most likely outcome isn't him joining us. It's him joining one of our biggest rivals. Think about that for a second. We could be handing our chief competition in the conference a 4-time MVP, purely because timing and championship logistics didn't line up in our favor. If you're as frustrated by that as I am, drop a comment and let me know which rival scares you the most, because there are a few options on the table and none of them are good for us. Dave McMenamin from ESPN was talking about this at the Fanatics Fest too, and he basically said that based on conversations he's had, it sounds like an Eastern Conference team is going to win the LeBron sweepstakes. And when you look at the realistic paths to a 5th championship ring for LeBron, the conversation keeps circling back to 3 teams: Cleveland, Miami, and Philadelphia. Let's break those down for a second because I have thoughts on all 3. Miami already made a splash this offseason by trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo. On paper, that's a massive move. Pairing LeBron with Giannis would be terrifying if we're being honest. But here's my pushback. Is Miami actually ready to compete with us at the top of the East next season? Or are we overreacting to one big trade? I don't think a single move suddenly makes them a lock to beat us 4 times in a 7-game series. Not yet anyway. Then there's Philadelphia. And this one honestly stunned me. They basically gave away Paul George, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks just to get Jalen Brown from Boston. That is an enormous price to pay. Are the Sixers really in win-now mode enough to justify that kind of haul going out the door? And even with Jalen Brown, is that roster built to challenge us? I have my doubts, but I want to hear what you think. So comment below. Is Philly a real threat, or are they just making noise? And then there's Cleveland. And honestly, this is the nightmare scenario for me. The Cavaliers were the team that went the deepest against us in the East during the playoffs, and we still swept them 4-0 in the conference finals. So if LeBron signs with Cleveland, we already know they can push the pace and compete at a high level. And now you're adding a 4-time MVP to a roster that already gave us our toughest test. That is genuinely the worst possible outcome for New York. And I think we need to be honest about that instead of pretending it wouldn't matter. Now look, there is some good news buried in all of this. The Knicks actually did a great job keeping the core of our championship roster together for next season. That matters. Continuity matters. Chemistry matters. We're not blowing things up after winning it all. And that's exactly what a smart, veteran front office should do. The one notable departure is Mitchell Robinson, who signed a 3-year deal with Boston. That one stings a little. I won't lie. Mitch brought energy and rim protection that's hard to replace. But I understand why business decisions like that happen in this league. So where does that leave us? We're the defending champs. We're not desperate. But we are watching one of the greatest players of all time potentially strengthen a rival instead of joining our winning culture. And as a fan, that's frustrating to sit with. I'd rather LeBron come here and chase one more ring with Brunson. But if he doesn't, I want him going literally anywhere except Cleveland, Miami, or Philly. Let me know in the comments where you think LeBron actually signs. And more importantly, tell me which outcome scares you the most as a Knicks fan. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already part of the family, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update the second real news drops. This LeBron situation is going to keep evolving fast, and I'll be right here breaking it all down for you. Let's go Knicks. Claude e uma ie ipod camerreiros. Por favor, verifique as respostas.